What's up, what's up, what's up? I am here with my main man, my good buddy, mi compadre, mi hermano, mi primo, Big Chonis. This is Big Cheds. How you doing, Big Chonis?
Good evening, Cheds. How you doing tonight?
Good. Let's get these folks a quick update. We're just sitting here laying in bed, and we're like, hey, we're not laying in bed together, obviously. But you're in your house and at my house, and I said this would be a good time to do a quick update just to get people, because people are probably like panicking or not panicking. I'm going to jump right in here. I'm going to fade this music down real quick, whatever we have left. And Big Chonis, I'm going to go to the GDAX 15-minute chart, which is kind of jumping out to me. So on the 15-minute chart, it shows that we were kind of drifting down. We went sideways. We hit some support here right around 7,800, and we bounced. We had that big, beautiful green candle in the 15-minute chart. Went sideways again, and then we kind of gave it all back here, almost a three black crows type of a situation. But we are looking at a potential reset on the 15-minute chart. So if there's any, this would be where it's gonna bounce if it's gonna bounce. You see what I'm saying? If it's a continuation bounce and we do put in a higher low, it's gonna have to happen right here, right now. What are you seeing, big good buddy?
Yeah, Cheds. We were watching this all day long, and we put in a really nice impulse wave.
Hmm.
That was a real impulse wave there. And what we're seeing now is we just gave it all back. We literally just gave it all back. I was watching the L2 on, the L2 depth chart basically on Bitcoin on the 15-minute, and someone was dumping like crazy amounts of coin right at the 8,200 range. Every time it broke through 8,200,
Hmm.
this big wall would show up, and it'd be bought into with strength. So somebody knew there was some strength that was there, and somebody just dumped, like I was watching, like hundreds of coins right around 8,200, and finally the bulls basically relented, and now we're just seeing this massive drop. This was a pretty nasty dead cat bounce here,
Is
and
it
now
dead cat? You're assuming a conclusion. To call it a dead cat bounce has to be proven out. So you're saying that's your theory. We don't know that it's a dead cat because we still have a potential for a higher low right now. We are at a reset in the 15 minutes. So you can. Are you declaring dead cat, or are you saying it might be a dead cat?
so we definitely have not hit a dead cat by literally $9, because if we had dropped $9 more, then we would have
Mhm.
put in a lower low based on where we were at around
What
1
time
p.m.
frame?
this
What
afternoon.
time? What?
On the 15-minute, basically that hammer we put in on the 15-minute around 1 p.m.
Yeah. Where do
And
we
that would
go? 78.58.
Exactly, and that basically has held. So yes, you're right. Technically, we haven't capitulated all that from our low.
So
We are
far.
in some ways, so far, we are some ways doing a retest, you
Yep.
could argue, of this
Yes.
78 area here,
Yep.
maybe confirming that this is a bottom here. Absolutely, these things are definitely on the
Yeah.
table. The
Yep.
volume has been pretty solid since we kind of bottomed earlier and had the impulse weight up. So the money, at least the coins are there. Whether it's just a lot of selling pressure, it's inducing the volume here,
Hmm.
and not any buying pressure. I think that the chart right now is kind of speaking for itself.
This is an
And again,
interesting area. Can I interrupt? I'm just going to go back. On the 4-hour chart, Big Jonas. Remember when we initially put in that inverse head and shoulders after we dropped to 62,
yes,
and you see we always were right in our left shoulder, and kind of the low close there on the right and left shoulder was like right at 79. See where I'm pointing to on the 4-hour?
yes,
So that's a really interesting area. So we have that left shoulder, we have that right shoulder, and then we have in our show, in our update, you and I did earlier today. I drew this line, which is probably shown on your screen right now, right at 78.50, which is where I pointed to. And if you zoom in, that's kind of exactly where we bounced off of. So this is an important area, is what I want to stress.
yeah. We are right there. This really does need to hold, like literally within the next, $50, $100 here. If this is going to basically have that next bullish impulse wave to push us higher here,
Yep.
are we seeing that? We're literally right there. We did notice on the 4-hour that the stock and RSI basically has been bottoming for some time here. Almost did a double bottom there,
Yep.
and looked like it was kind of turning the corner in a bullish pattern there. And that kind of precipitated that impulse wave we had seen on the previous 4 hour. But once again, we're still stuck in this bearish zone on the 4 hour there, and I don't really feel that we put in a very convincing candle on the daily yesterday. I mean, the bull stepped in, brought us back a few yesterday. Well,
it's a nice wick though. That's a pretty nice wick here.
It is. It's red. So it'd be nicer if it was green. We've seen other circumstances where the green basically signified a really distinct bottom here.
Yep. But we still have a lower shadow. I mean, we have a lower shadow, and it's but obviously today kind of tells us today just started, but today so far tells us a little bit about yesterday. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Continuation.
To make your point. I mean, today kind of makes your point a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're still early in the day, obviously. This definitely has the potential to put in a massive bullish hammer as the day progresses, which we could see 2 awesome wicks on the down that could show us that we're basically trending up again, which would be great.
Real quick, I'm just going to keep this rolling here. So I want to point out one thing on Litecoin, and then I'm going to ask you to take us through GDAX. What was interesting was earlier you and I had pointed out that Bitcoin had been holding up better than Litecoin, interestingly enough. So if we just go back 15, 30, 45 minutes, if we go back 45 minutes in Bitcoin in the 15-minute chart, we had that little doji there. Litecoin had already, 1, 2, 3, 4, Litecoin had kind of already started pulling back there. So that was an interesting sign, potentially, where you saw some divergence where Litecoin had pulled back earlier than Bitcoin, which was interesting. And you were astute in your observation on GDAX, which I'm going to ask you to take us to right now, where you were noting that people were selling into that, selling right into 8,200. So what are you seeing on GDAX right now? Where do you want me to go on a daily, an hour, 6 hour? What am I looking at?
So if we're going to talk about Bitcoin, let's start with just the hourly is fine. And you can kind of see what we're talking about the retest of that double bottom there on the hourly. And that's kind of showing you that we're, still stuck in this right there, trying to put in a little higher low there. Honestly, that's a pretty nasty 2 candles right there. If you want to jump down to the 6 hour there, what you're basically seeing is a bearish engulfing there with 2 pretty nasty wicks on top, which is signifying, that the bears really still have control there. I don't like to see that at all. And, as I said, the daily put in kind of a, not a super bad, but not really a super great candle there. What I wanted to bring up, if you just want to hover over that BTC USD kind of on the left there, just to show all 4 of the majors.
Yep, absolutely. So what kind of jumps out to you right now?
Well, the divergence. So you see, if you mouse over that, will basically show that Litecoin is down almost 12% in the last 24-hour period there. Basically, it's having 2 times worse the moves there. Ether's holding up slightly better, and so is Bitcoin
But
Cash.
we did have that news about the something about LitePay project being put on hold. So that could be a factor. Just real quickly, I think in the bigger picture that doesn't matter too much. It might give bears a little bit of an argument in the short term, but it's not a big deal for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's definite FUD. I know that the Litecoin rollout was supposed to, continue
to the moon.
The moonshot of Litecoin, combined with a few other projects that Litecoin has been basically working on.
While you do that, I'm going to pull up the chart while you do that. Sorry.
Sure.
Go ahead.
These are all really positive things, but I do believe that this was kind of a setback news that I think we're kind of seeing that additional bearish divergence in Litecoin.
Well, what's next? I mean, you're the Litecoin whisperer. I mean, every time I'm looking to Litecoin to enter, you're telling me to wait or to not wait.
Well, listen, it depends who you are. If you're a swing trader or a day trader. So real quick, the day trader is somebody that will basically do a trade within 15 minutes to 2 or 3 hours tops. Swing trader is kind of a days long, several days long trade. So there was a great trade through the day here. If you were able to scoop up some 142, 143s, and once you broke that 150, which happened, scale out there, that was almost $10 right there of Litecoin to be had there. But, as you see, we given that all back, and we're still kind of right there again, not entirely breaking down on Bitcoin, but on Litecoin, we did break down. We gave back everything from that immediate impulse wave that brought us to 150 there. And, we're basically flirting with the 130s again. I was targeting somewhere in the low 130s on, we were talking about that yesterday. I'm still kind of sticking with that.
Okay. Well, you think low 130s is an area to start scaling in. So you're looking for a low 130s. Are you looking for a higher low? Because if you break 138, we're going to put in a lower low, which would kind of be bearish. So do you want low 130s?
My philosophy behind the low 130s is this. I believe we're going to retest that 137 area, which we were at a week ago, which, allowed us to bounce into the 170s. If we're going to test that again, we might see a little bounce off that, might push us back over 140.
Okay.
But I have no conviction in that being a double bottom situation. I feel once we break that 137, it's just going to that next level. And that next level, basically puts us between, I'm kind of seeing previous chart areas of 132 to potentially as low as 127 and 125. There's a lot of history between 125 and 134, a lot of history there. So I feel that is kind of our area there. And that's kind of where I'm sitting for now. And again, it's all about Bitcoin still. It depends. Bitcoin, we're again right there still. We haven't completely capitulated on this impulse wave here. But if it does, then I think Litecoin is going to follow suit. And it's interesting that it's actually diverging a little more bearishly than Bitcoin is currently.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's do Ethereum. I was waiting to tweet back over 500 because I thought that'd be a fun one for people, and we kind of got close on that bounce. You did have a dip here, Big Chonis, and once again, this is Big Cheds coming to you live for some quick analysis to help you guys set your mind straight. We're not advisors. We're just a couple guys having fun talking crypto. So yeah, Ethereum, Big Chonis, we had a nice little dip here, 460 to 492, and we almost hit 500, Big Chonis, on Ethereum.
Yeah, we talked about that 500 range, psychological range. We're back in the 400s again. I remember when if Ether was on the way up and in the 400 range, and I was thinking to myself, God, this thing is so crazy expensive. I can buy, 1 Ether, or I can buy like 4 Litecoins. And then to my amazement, Ethereum went from 400 to 1200 pretty quickly, and it was amazing. So, now that we're back in the 400s again, what does that tell me? I mean, that's a little scary. It took us so much energy to kind of pop from 400 up to 1,000. Now we're back to 400s again. I still feel we're in this bearish market here, Ether especially.
All right, I think that's a really good way to look at it. Just want to remind you guys, if you do like some of this content, feel free to go ahead and find me on Twitter. I am at Big Cheds, and I'm happy to announce my main man here, my number 2. My number 2 is Big Chonis. You can find him at Big Chonis. He's promised to continue to put out some great content here for you guys. So go ahead and check that out. Let's just quickly do maybe another 3 minutes on Bitcoin, and then we'll wrap it up and leave a little bit of suspense for what happens next. We talked about it. This is the area we need to see hold. So I will admit that the bull's argument gets a little bit harder if this area doesn't hold, but I'm still sticking to my guns that we are essentially still range bound on Bitcoin between the upper and lower trend line. If we do fail here, I'd be looking for a potential 75-80 area test and hold on the daily candle, which of course is many hours from now. What's your kind of view here in Bitcoin, just to wrap things up?
Yeah, Cheds, real quick, looking at the depth chart, when we turned that corner a couple hours ago, it had that nice impulse wave. There was a shift briefly, but there definitely was a shift in the depth chart from bearish to, I would say, neutral and slightly bullish in the short term. But we kind of gave all that back, and the depth chart is basically back to bearish sentiment, which basically I mean by that is more of the money is currently parked at a lower price point, suggesting that people are assuming that Bitcoin will reach a lower price point. If we can hold this 78 area here, 7,500 is probably the next logical target, and see what kind of a bounce, if any, we see from that. But overall, right now, I'm still pretty bearish on all three of these guys. See where
All
we go from
right.
there.
All right. We are, I am thankful you were with us, Big Chonis. I am Big Cheds. Just wrapping things up for you guys. Remember, you don't need to force a trade if it's not there, because the crypto market is 24/7. So, have a strategy, have a theory, follow that theory, test it out, and just really the most important ingredient is patience. So make sure you guys stay patient. All right. Let's get this and we hope to come back to you guys again soon. All right, everybody, take care. Bye.